Are going live, and we are now live. The October 31st, 2014 Halloween night Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm going to send out invites again because Google seems to be having some kind of issues. I am not sure exactly what these issues are. So we'll try. I'm going to actually try sending it out to the group to see if it allows me. This time it did. Last week it wouldn't let me. How interesting.
Temperamental.
Temperamental, for sure.
Backdrop there. It's cute.
Okay, so let's see.
Hey, James, you don't have a camera on your computer?
I do, but it's not working very well.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try and get Sarah in here too. She said she was coming, but it's always a question about Sarah. In the afternoon, things get a little bit crazy for her. Okay.
Dennis, do you think you'll come next year to QB Connect?
I'm not sure. Traveling's kind of hard for me.
Oh.
It's at least it's on the same side of the country as you.
Yeah, you're in Washington, right?
Right.
Just
I've got an autistic
There's Linda. There's Sarah.
Hey guys.
Hi, Linda.
son, which
I had to run.
Driving.
I had to run Penny to the vet.
Can't hear her.
Hey, Sarah's talking, but we can't hear you, Sarah.
looks like you're in the
I
car.
Hi. Are you sure?
Let me see if I can use my control room and make her louder. If that helps.
Yeah, I can hear her fine. Sarah, you're driving, right?
Yeah, I'm coming
I
back from
can't
the.
hear Sarah at all.
I can't hear her at all either.
Funny is it that I'm the only one that can hear Sarah.
I can hear.
Oh, I can hear Sarah.
Oh, and I can hear her too.
Just Sarah, pay attention to the road. You got a dog in the back seat.
Sarah!
I've got my hands on the wheel. I'll probably get
Oh
a
my goodness. So if someone that can hear her can repeat what she says, it would be very much appreciated. There's Penny.
She
Penny
didn't
was going as someone trick-or-treating. Was it Tigger?
Tigger.
Tigger?
Yeah, she's gonna be Tigger tonight.
Oh, good.
So
Hey,
they,
Dennis and I are pirates.
Did you see that article?
You can watch her until I get home.
Did you see that article in Forbes? I put a link in the chat if you can see it.
the link for, I'm sorry, what was the article name?
It's will QuickBooks be your accounting software next year? It's an article in Forbes.
Oh,
really?
I saw that, yeah.
What did it say?
It just basically said they're trying to destroy QuickBooks Desktop, so they're basically destroying their product before someone else does. Kind of the gist of the article is that they're being proactive about change rather than letting change happen to them.
See, this is my kitty cat.
Oh, what a great cat
Got a
for
black
today.
cat.
Whoa. Inside tonight.
Sylvia.
Yeah, don't let her get out tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep her safe. I got an email today from Sage, and they're offering a free conference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And let me open that up on the other computer so I can read it to you. And I wondered, I think I'm going to go to it.
Put the link in the chat.
Where is it at? Where is it at?
It's in Anaheim. They're calling it Los Angeles, but it's the DoubleTree Hotel in Anaheim, which is not very far from me, maybe 25 miles. So, oh, that's better, Sarah. Now we don't have to watch you weave all over the road.
I didn't know it was 5:30. I didn't think you guys were live.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to the email. Somebody else can talk while I'm looking for the email.
Well, we have a couple subjects to talk about. We can talk about how to do value pricing, kind of continue what we did this morning, so that you don't get in a situation where you end up spending twice the amount of time that you originally budgeted for and told the client.
Yeah.
That'll happen to you one time, and then that's it. You figure out what to do, and actually, I don't value price any type of setup or any type of cleanup for QuickBooks. The only thing that I will value price will be bookkeeping, which I can give you a list of items, and I do set it out very specifically in my engagement letter that each month this is what I'm going to be doing. I will be doing invoicing, and the invoicing will be less than 25 lines per invoice, and a certain amount at certain price levels. If they need additional customization, it just increases the price, kind of a la carte, we'll say. I do have a basic, a small biz, and a deluxe package, but I don't usually sell the packages as they stand. Usually it's somewhere between the basic and small biz, depending on what the client needs.
Right.
You probably customize it, don't you, with kind of like a la carte in a sense?
Kind of like a la carte, but I do have my 3 levels, and if I need to, I'll start at the basic, for example, which is simply once a month going in, doing reconciliations, and running the report for the client. My small biz includes invoicing and paying bills. So if they're at the basic level and they want invoicing, then I will, in my engagement letter, say that I am offering the basic plus invoicing for a total price of X per month, and then list exactly what I'm doing. You have a checking account, you have a savings account, you have a credit card account. We're reconciling all of that. In addition, we're doing the invoicing. Something like that, but being very specific in my letter, my engagement letter.
You use Bill.com for your invoicing?
Yes. Yes, for both the invoicing and the payables. I really like Bill.com.
Do your clients give you the invoicing to do every day?
The invoicing that I do every day?
Yeah, because I would think that they would want to invoice as soon as possible.
Some clients don't, though. It all depends on what type of business they have. If you're talking a bigger client, that's a possibility.
Right.
And again, my packages specify how many invoices per month. I know what I can work at. I know what level my people can work at.
Sure.
And I have a good estimate of about how long it takes to do these things.
Right.
So I'm basing these quotes on my experience also.
Gotcha. I don't do any bookkeeping, so when I do value pricing, I just tell them, I can give you a fixed price for something that I can control, but if I have no control, then it's an hourly rate.
Right. And that's what I assume every QuickBooks cleanup or setup will be. Setup seems like it could be something that you should be able to fix price, but everybody's equipment is different.
Sure.
Everybody's internet connection is different. And get to a client who has an older system and have to, oh my goodness.
That's the worst thing. And then you have to I always charge by the hour then.
Right.
Oh, God.
Right. Now there are some things that I can do when you get your QuickBooks. If you're doing a desktop installation, when you get your Pro Advisor, they ask you if you want the discs or not. If I'm going to be doing a lot of setup, I want those discs. It goes so much faster installing the desktop version with those discs. You can actually do a couple at a time. Where if you're downloading one, you go to another computer and download another, it slows down the more computers you add on.
That's
Try
true.
putting it on a flash drive. It's a lot faster just to drag and drop the program.
On the flash drive, you use a
Yeah,
flash drive?
to their hard drive.
Oh, that's a possibility. I should rethink that instead of buying the $20 discs now. That's what they're charging.
I do like 5 computers at a time a lot.
Right, because it's quicker.
If you're going to load it from a flash drive, do you just drag and drop it onto the desktop of the computer, then go to the next computer, start it installing on that computer, then go to the next computer, drag and drop, start it installing there? Got it.
Exactly, yeah.
Makes sense.
That seems a lot quicker than even the discs.
Or you can just put it on one and then through the network you just copy.
That's true. Across
Well, again, that depends on what type of network they have and their system and their equipment.
Right.
And I think I'm finding that clients are not as up to date with equipment or software as we are. If they're just starting their business, it's a different story. But clients that have been established for a while,
Yeah, they don't know what they have. They don't know what they don't have. I went in and there were like 40 Windows updates. 40 Windows updates. And they just would pass over it every time. I said, when you get a Windows update, you need to install it like within a day or two. So,
Look how many clients were on XP to the last second.
absolutely. I see that a lot this year. I'm seeing that a lot. People trying to upgrade to 2015 using an XP computer and not knowing.
and they can't. I warn people, but
My server's going out next July. Server 2003.
Done next year.
That was a chunk of change.
yeah.
It's interesting.
Right on your hat, follow you like my halo.
I love your halo, Sarah.
But isn't it supposed to follow your head?
It is, but sometimes it's slow. Pirates are slow, you know. Move slowly.
Dennis is like invisible there.
Dennis is an underwater pilot. He's doing scuba diving.
He's doing what Sean did this morning.
Pardon me?
Dennis, you're dressed the way Sean was dressed. Oh no, Sean had a different hat on.
Seth,
Yeah, different hat.
Seth, but he had a mustache. Yeah.
that's
I'm
right.
so glad I just found my credit card. There's nothing worse than open your wallet and don't find your credit card.
So
And
you.
I'm looking at the dog going, the only credit card I have is my company credit card.
Don't
Have to
call me
reimburse
those. Sarah.
myself. It's been one of those days. I have to sit here and figure out how to do an EFTPS on. I mean, it's not hard. I always use ePay for all my clients. And somewhere in all this confusion this week, I didn't finish my I didn't use my checklist, is what I didn't do.
Oh, see?
Yeah, the tax deposit was
Pilot went out with the plane.
You know, this is not something a seasoned accountant does wrong. So, fortunately, I can go directly to the website and do it, but if I do it through Intuit, it'll be Tuesday.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, thank God for...
What do you use, Sarah?
For what? I use to pay the taxes?
Oh, I thought you meant, no, I was thinking something else. I thought maybe your payment network. That's what I thought you were talking about.
No. I when I pay after I finish a payroll, I go ahead and process the 941.
Oh, okay.
And so it's due today.
Does everybody use Direct Connect or Web Connect for their banking download?
It varies.
I don't use it. I've never understood the concept, but I don't have a lot of clients that have like debit cards or anything like that. So
We use the Web Connect on a client that has Bank of America accounts because that's included. It's part of.
but that's what they're doing away with, right?
The personal Bank of America accounts do not allow you to download the QuickBooks. They only download the Quicken.
Oh.
And that's a big part of what my problem is. I'd love to use the Web Connect files.
You can get Bank of America do it if you ask them. You have to specifically ask them.
If you pay, you can.
But there's a $15 to $20
Oh no, not that one.
direct.
I have
Connect.
to. You can have them turn it on so it'll make a QuickBooks file, but then you download it to your desktop and then you just bring it in through utilities.
Right.
Is that why I
But I file that's not an online file.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, all the banks are different. That's what makes it hard.
Every bank is different.
They're all a little different.
You're laughing, Dennis. You know, it's true.
And then there's that, you know, for the ones that don't have, you know, where you can download, you know, they only have Quicken. You can download Quicken. I use this converter called Notepad that convert it into a .qbo file. But I'm noticing sometimes with all these, you know, apps and conversion tools, I noticed that I'm starting to get a lot of corruption.
Even with the QB.
Apps and conversion tools are the problem with the corruption. Corruption
You have to
is
keep verifying.
prevalent. It's so prevalent this year. Even one of our people on the Hangout this morning had problems, which surprised me.
Well, that was the problem. My husband was in Quicken, and I've always kept my personal books in QuickBooks, and then we got married, and we just couldn't merge. So,
Well, you could
I'm turning him into a QuickBooks boy.
You need to convert him to the full accounting system.
Well, I just give it all to me.
He only got half a balance sheet.
I know. It's like, you know, half the stuff's on his cards and half the stuff's on my cards. I can't tell what we're really doing. And we're both so anal about it. We're just, you know, we have to match receipts and the whole thing. We're just alike. I mean, he's the perfect husband. But you just have to get it together. It's always something. Oh, I'm so glad this week is over.
Yeah.
You had everything. I was asking Sarah if you had everything got together over the weekend for your audit and that.
Oh, yeah. I watched the sun come up.
I figured that.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I was doing this massive consolidation of 3 companies, and there's all these spreadsheets to feed together, and it wasn't, and you just keep giving it information and praying a lot. And it was getting closer to 8, and I thought, please don't come in at 8. At 8:15, it all popped together.
Oh,
I started uploading the share file. I was just flying, and then at 9:05 they started downloading. I'm like, oh my God.
wow.
I've never ever done an audit prep, but they were still feeding me information on Friday afternoon.
Oh, wow. No, that's not.
And it's just not. Oh, it's not going to happen again. It won't happen.
Yeah.
Well, I gave them a contract to do the accounting for all 3 divisions.
Got it.
See, I've always had one piece of the puzzle, not the other 2.
Got it.
So next year I'll have it every day, you know. So
You'll be able to groom it during the year.
oh yeah, and then I mean,
When the year comes, it'll just like no problem.
yeah, I'm not hunting for documents and you know. So, yeah, it'll be great. And then I could do more analytical stuff. See, I usually do comparative financials, and if there's a lot of variance, I'll put explanations. You know, I'm an old auditor. I know what they're going to ask.
Right.
You know, and you know they were here all week, and I was really hoping to get them out the door.
Right.
They're like, "What's the variance between this?" And I'm like, "Oh, I know." But you know, most auditors aren't used to getting everything handed to them like that. So
Most auditors aren't used to asking for things and having the people know what it is they're asking for.
well, like one of the questions was, why is account number blah blah blah? Just testing contributions. You know, 0 last year and 50,000 or something this year, and I'm like, and I looked at it and I went, "You've mapped your account wrong in your audit software." So that account is the intercompany transfer account.
And you love it when you catch them for something?
It was there last year, so she set up a new account. She keyed it in wrong.
Ah,
She got a digit off because I said, "I think you mean account number so and so," because that was the total. And so, but see, I know audits. I know exactly what she's done.
Right, right.
So meanwhile, she'd CC'd everybody. So every treasurer and their cousin is going, "What? Why is there a variance? Why is it zero?" Oh, it's okay. It's just a computer malfunction. So,
Okay, we'll
anyway.
blame it on the computer.
That's right. Well, when you're, if they're obviously not importing, keying in massive trial balances, you're going to find those boo-boos.
Right, right, absolutely.
Yeah. And usually, well, this crowd didn't, but, I've seen firms, they hand those trial balances to interns and say, key them in. And then it'll be out of balance, some immaterial amount, and they'll just shove it to something.
Right.
Me, I'm like, what do you mean it's off a penny?
That's one of the things about having, hey, knock it off, a long chart of accounts. Remember, Rhonda this morning said one of her clients had 28 pages?
Oh, I inherited one like that.
Oh my goodness. One of the things that was interesting is they had reimbursed some employees, and I said, well, why is it going to unearned commission fees? Oh, well, that's wrong, and it's supposed to go to uniforms. I says, oh, well, that explains it. Unearned begins with UNE. Uniforms begin with UNI. So if you start typing UN, unearned commission fees is going to come up first.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Close attention, it's not going to uniforms. So
That's
I said,
why you read general ledgers and you review your work.
right.
I've hired, and I don't like just hiring key punch operators or input operators or clerks,
These are people.
because they just throw it in and you go, did you check your work?
Yeah, they don't know accounting.
Well,
Yeah,
until
some of it's
told
just
them those mistakes, they're unaware that they've done them. And then once you explain it to them, they go, oh, well, that makes sense.
But you have to. I keep trying to train clients, anybody that once it's in, you've got to go another step.
That's right.
And look,
One of the things, he's in the middle of an EDD audit,
yeah,
and so the auditor wanted a copy of every single paycheck. And I'm trying to figure out how am I going to do that in a report. So what I did was I got a report for any day in the month that he issued a paycheck. Well, in October of 2013, there were 5 days of the month he issued paychecks. In November, there were 6 days of the month he issued paychecks. And in December, there were 7 days of the month. And I said, the auditor's probably going to ask you why. I mean,
assistant or their bonus runs.
we're not doing this. QuickBooks is doing it. I said, you know what? When you send payroll to QuickBooks and they send it back to you, you can change the date on it to the date it's supposed to be. You don't have to leave it the date that they have on it. I said, you should be looking at this. But then he said, oh, well, we got weekly employees and we got twice-a-month employees.
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And payroll is so simple, all you have to do is push a button.
All right.
Well, actually, this is enhanced payroll, so he's...
If you have enhanced with the accountant's version, there are additional payroll reports that you can print that the other people don't have.
Yeah, well, I'll have to learn how to sign in.
Poke around. Go to the up top to the menu and go to employees, and then there's
I got all the ones, and I saved them all as PDFs, starting with EDD onto the server, so he can get to them all. And I named them with the names that the auditor wanted to call them. So he's got all his reports. So.
Well, we used to have DOL audits all the time because they were mandated to audit everybody. So it wasn't if, it was when. And we would set up a folder and share file, and I'd throw up, everything, quarterly, check registers, the whole thing. And they loved me because I would just, you get to know them all in a little town anyway, and give them a login, and they didn't even have to come over. They would just write from the share file. But Now they're not allowed to do that. They have to come on site and they want to see the check registers because what they're really looking for is hidden, you know, people that aren't on the payroll that should be on the payroll.
Right.
The only way they can do that is to really go through check statements and stuff. So.
Oh, yeah.
The easy days are over.
Gina, so when is the demo?
When is are we talking QBox?
Yeah.
That's next week.
Okay.
Next week we'll have QBox on. We love QBox even though Intuit snubbed them for QB Connect.
That was an honest salesperson, because to buy a booth is wickedly expensive. And so I'm actually glad that that they didn't just sell them a booth, because they have desktop type events going on or whatever. Not much, but they could have sold him a booth. I was actually quite impressed.
Does anybody use Activate?
What does Activate do?
Activate is inventory management, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Haven't heard of it.
Because I met.
I use Activate.
Pardon me?
I use Activate.
Yeah, because I met. I think his name is Jim Sweet. He's I think the owner of the company. Young guy.
Brian Sweet.
Brian Sweet. Yeah, very nice.
BB.
I had breakfast with him one morning, and just a really nice person. And we connected on LinkedIn and told him, maybe you should do a demo sometime. And I think I sent you an email. Remember, Gina, I sent you an email about him?
Mm-hmm. Be happy to have him on. We're scheduling for next year at this point.
Oh, yeah, that's
We have a demo in December. Just too many holidays, too much going on. So QBox is actually going to be the last demo of this year.
Okay. Now, do you want me to give him your email, contact you?
Sure, you can do that.
Okay. I might even introduce you through LinkedIn.
Okay,
Okay?
that works too. So we have Brandon in twice.
Yes, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon. Now.
I think both of them.
Oh, we just lost both of them.
Brandon at the convention. Met him up there.
You met Brandon
You
at
met
the
Brandon?
QB Connect?
Yeah.
Next year we're going to have to find a place and a time and all connect together.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
I guess Doug Sleater's concentrating on this year, but I wonder if he's decided where to go next year.
And Brandon says really wanted to hang out with us, but it doesn't appear Google is cooperating.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brandon.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my Hangout right now. I had to get on my cell phone.
Okay, yeah, I saw you popping in and out, and I figured it was technical stuff.
I think I'm going to do my Halo every week.
Oh, you like that? That's awesome.
I have a quick question. Has anybody been getting emails from something called Scale?
No, not me.
No, haven't heard of it.
Not Scaling Heights. Scale?
No, Scale. Yeah.
What do they want?
What are they selling?
They're selling, I can't remember. Hold on, let me see if I can find the email. Do I have email on that? Hold on one second. It's something to do with, I know they connect with QuickBooks. I'll look for my email and try to find it.
Well, Scale? I could come up with all kinds of stuff. Scale Solutions, Scale.
Yeah.
Is it
So
a
while you're looking, Nisha, I'm gonna ask one of James' questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Today. One of them was regarding data mining, and the other was strawberries. James, are you with us?
Yes.
Which question would you like answered first?
I'd be curious on how people handle the strawberries.
Okay. So you have a farmer, a client that is growing strawberries?
That's correct.
and they have expenses or cost of goods like seeds, and you want to know how you handle that, would that be an inventory item?
Boy.
Well, how would
Together is
it's like I used to have a nursery, and you know, you start with seeds and you end up with plants, and then you're selling different size plants, and how do you cost that out?
But
Right.
you're not keeping track of your plant inventory, right?
We didn't. We just all the
cost of goods
materials
sold.
were well, they were just a tax write-up, so
Yeah.
everything just got expensed, and everything from fertilizer, you know, all these, and then they had these things that went in the fields to hold the plants up, and they actually went through every year. So we expensed all that to cost of goods sold against income, and that was it. But we didn't cost it out like they
Yeah,
wanted to set up
I
a
don't
point
think
of
of
sale.
inventory, that kind of stuff. It's just too many.
Mm-mm.
There's too much up and down. There's too much variable. You don't know. If you have 20 seeds, are you going to get 20 plants? Probably not. You know? And then you go further, and of those plants that grew from the seeds, how many have matured and ripened into product? Some plants are better than others.
Well, here's the thing. At year end, is the plants that they have on, you know, in the store inventory.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah, that's true.
We never did that. We never had inventory on the books with the nursery.
That's true too, because at the end of the year, if they're not sold, what do you do with them? Again,
They're still in the growing stage.
You also have to factor in if the plant dies.
oh, well, that's a whole different hangout completely.
That's a really good question. I never
Yeah.
knew if it was right or wrong. It was just the way the CPA that I had did it. So I don't know.
But yeah, I mean,
I know that I've
What
had
happens?
clients with timber, and they bring in appraisers that will appraise all the acres of timber, and based on how hot, you know, how old they are, and you know, there's an art to it. I mean, it's big business. But I don't know.
Dan, you were gonna say?
you know, it's what would you do at, say, in a year you have inventory, then how are you going to track it go forward the next year when you start selling it? I mean, it's like if you start putting it in inventory, you're going to create all sorts of problems for yourself in terms of tracking it when you sell it.
No, I think it would just be a tax adjustment.
Where we are in Southern California, at the end of the year, which is July 4th, they plow all the strawberry plants under. And they leave. Yeah, I buy my strawberries from the field all the time. I wouldn't buy a strawberry from the supermarket. They grow them all over. Every place where there's an empty field, they grow strawberries. And they put them in the field. They have Mexicans come in and pick them, and they sell them. And they sell a pint, or they sell boxes of 6 together, or they'll sell a flat, which is 12 together. And the price is different depending on how many you buy.
So if you were doing their tax return, if their year end was in the middle of selling season, would you have inventory? No.
I don't do taxes.
I think
I would deliberately
to ask, yeah.
I would deliberately have their tax year start and end at a time when they weren't in the
I was
middle.
just thinking that. I was just thinking of, you know, I would do a C Corp. It
If
ends.
you were able to, right, it depends on what type of corporation they are.
Yeah. Well, you can switch your closing date too. I had a client, their closing date, we switched their S Corp. We changed them from a C Corp to an S Corp, and we changed their closing date to September 30th.
Not on an S Corp, you can't.
What?
Not an S Corp is always December.
No, not in California.
I had an S corp that was January 30th.
That are different.
It
You
must
can-
be
you-
different.
I've never heard that. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I thought that S Corps flow down to your personal return just like
do.
a W-2 and your K-1. But you're saying the K-1 isn't on the same year as your W-2s?
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. And that's why that tax guy does it that way, is because it gives him 3 months
Yeah.
Tax return has
Wait a
to.
minute. If that were true, we'd have year ends all over the year, like the C corps. We used to do tax returns all year long.
That's right, and that's why the guy does this. He has all of his clients set up to have different end dates, so he works full time all year round. Brilliant.
Why the rest of us killing ourselves? Let's see.
I know.
I found the information. It's an all-in-one app for invoicing. It's for consulting firms, managed sales projects, teams, and invoices.
Oh, we're back to scale.
Yeah, it just said scale, SCALE. I don't know. I don't know why people are sending me crap.
Well, you're getting more known. People are that's.
I sold a mailing list that QuickBooks people on it, you know, and
I guess they sell the QuickBooks Pro Advisor list with your email, and then they just kind of send you crazy emails.
Yes. Yep.
If they're gonna, you know what? If they're gonna keep doing that, I'm gonna start charging. I'll be like, if you're gonna send me an email, you need to drop like $1 in my damn checkbook. Every email you
a way to do that.
need to pay me $1.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So, James, did we answer your question?
No. I don't think so.
It gave me a thought.
You know who would probably be able to give you some good insight too? Between Dennis and Bruce, the two of them should be able to figure that one out.
Okay, I want to go back to this S corp thing because you've got me all fuddled.
Well, what
Yeah.
he does is he
Generally,
I don't think I've ever heard of an S corp.
no, it says generally partnerships, S corps, including electing S corps, must use a required tax year, which is December. A required tax year is a tax year that is required under the IRS code, blah, blah, blah. The entity does not have to use the required tax year if it receives IRS approval to use another permitted tax year or makes the election under Section 444.
So that's what your client did then. They either got approval from the IRS or.
Well, it says all S corps, regardless of when they became an S corp, must use a permitted tax year. A permitted tax year is any of the following: the calendar year, a tax year elected under Section 444, which I have to look up, a 53 week ending with reference to the calendar year, or other tax year for which the corporation establishes a business purpose. Maybe there's a little.
That establish a business purpose sounds like it fits you.
But you have to request and be given IRS approval. Form 2553. So, for instance, with the strawberry fields, if they say, look, our season, it's like a school ending in August.
Right, our season ends in July.
Season ends in whatever, and we have a specific reason we want our year end to be that way. That's interesting. I've never come across anything like that.
Well, I'm not worried about that. I don't do the taxes ever.
Yeah.
You're looking to set them up is what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
I
they're
would
going
do
to
it
get
the
grown.
simplest and easiest way. When I am setting everything up, that's usually generally what I do. Start simple and then add on it as they grow and as they get better using QuickBooks.
Right.
Many times I've gone out to consults and talked to clients, and they want this, and they want that, and they want this, and they want this detail, and they want that detail, and it ends up being so complicated that they're not able to do it on a timely basis, and they get no good information.
That's right.
So I want to start simple and easy, give them the information that they can understand, and then work my way up that way.
Right.
Have they been in business for more than a year? Is there already a tax return under their belt?
They've been organizational costs about 5 years in building, in creating all these different types of.
'Cause I was about to say, I would, if I was doing a setup, I'd get the past tax return or two.
Yep.
There is no tax return already.
So you have that golden
Startup.
period where you get to set the rules, and going forth, everyone will carry on after you.
A startup is not easy.
Tax advisor that set the rules up and things like that, and the investors are coming in.
Well, I mean, there's certain tax treatments for organizational costs and things like that. But you know, your book, when you set up a set of books, it could be tax basis, it could be, you know, GAAP, it can be the best you can do, and then the tax accountant's going to run with it. You know, it just depends on. I hate startups.
Well, I just know
Unless
that
I really know.
so I just trying to make sure that they have things that they can take a look at reports-wise,
Yeah.
be able to compare,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and to make plans.
A lot of that's just common sense, then.
but you can still show them the income versus the cost of goods, and you can use that as a percentage.
Have they sold anything yet?
No, we haven't started selling.
Yeah,
yet.
they're a real startup.
Well, you really can't, from a tax standpoint, you really
There's
can't
nothing
expense
on
anything until you
P&L then.
have a sale. You know, you can, amortize organizational costs over, I think it's like 5 years after you've made a sale.
Yeah, all the rules are, and there's rules changing there too, because some organizational costs they're letting you expense, but unless they have a sale and are actually in business, it's all balance sheet activity.
That's true.
There is a farming, on the IRS website where they have, where they've come up with the industry specific. The auditors use them actually. I think farming is one of them.
IRS code for the farming, and
Did
I
you-
read about 5 pages and got bored.
Another very interesting thing in California is when you sell agricultural products,
Mm-hmm.
if you apply for it, you get a special agricultural credit for sales tax.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were talking about that last
Yeah, it's like
Produce is all non-taxable in California. Produce is all non-taxable.
No, none. You mean when they buy products?
their food. Their food. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay. But how about paying sales tax on your materials?
That's taxable.
Your materials are taxable?
Well, when they buy the little carts that they put them in, they pay sales tax on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Because they're an end user.
Right.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
That's right. They're not selling
don't
anything that's taxable.
Collect sales tax because it's a food.
Right.
Yeah, you want to make sure they don't sell anything at their little farm booth that should be a taxable item.
Oh yeah, they'll mix it up, won't they?
Right, not unless you get a resale permit.
Right,
They
right.
got one of those.
Food.
Yeah, they
Now-
have-
Only sell food, but
No, every state's different. But do they have to have even if they don't have to collect sales tax, do they still have to file a return?
that's
No.
correct. Yes, they do.
not if they don't have a resale
The
permit.
State Board of Equalization already gave me a letter, Linda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because some of ours is like that. You at least have to report your sales, then say they're exempt.
Right. Exactly.
They want to know. Yeah.
In case they decide to change the laws.
Put a notice up on the Sage Tour. Let me just share my screen for a minute so you can see what it looks like. It's going everywhere. Share my screen. Here we go. Share. Okay. Now, do you see the cities they're going to there?
Oh, they're in North Carolina.
Yeah, well, actually, they're going to be in Philadelphia November 6th.
I hate Philadelphia.
Okay.
Are you thinking about supporting Sage or using Sage?
I want to know about more. Well, I want to know as much as I can about all small business accounting software. Intuit is making things so challenging for me at this point.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Intuit seems to be shooting itself in the foot So you might as well,
They're
notify
leaving the door
the
open
different.
for all of these guys, for Sage, for Zero, for all of them. And if I have a client that really wants to try that, I have no problem. I'll go in and I'll lower my bookkeeping fees because I'm on a learning curve.
Right. And that's my thought is if QuickBooks keeps going to do away with desktop, then I need to keep my options open.
Right. I feel like I'm back in the 80s when I was, I had Real World, Peachtree, Intuit, and I was spread so thin.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I finally just picked one, so now I've got, 20.
Well, yeah, and I'm picking a few of them. Like I'm not pursuing FreshBooks. To me, it's not a
simple
system. So and they are not the clients that I want either. But Sage is up there with one of the ones that I really want to investigate and look at for the same reasons Linda's saying. I want another option.
Well,
books at this point.
There's somebody on either ABBO. I think it's either. I don't think it was LinkedIn. I think it was the ABBO Facebook page that asked if she could use their Sage in a Q box. I need to find her and answer because apparently I don't think they're as SAS ready as Intuit thinks they're SAS ready, but they actually the answer is they've been testing, they've been in beta for a while, but they need to get a good relationship with Sage, and so it's been tabled until the first quarter of 2015, but it's coming. He says it works well.
Oh, good.
He's eventually going to he's adding more and more products to the Q box. He's already got Word and Excel, QuickBooks. So,
I think it's a great little product. I absolutely do.
Do any of you have clients on Sage?
No, I haven't had a
The client that I had on Sage moved over to QuickBooks about 5 years ago.
I don't know anybody that uses it really.
Well, I hated it, but that was so long ago. What I hated is long gone.
It was Peachtree at the time.
Yeah, we're dating ourselves. The ones of us who still call it Peachtree, we insist on calling it Peachtree.
No, when I was using it,
is that what it basically is?
Yeah, it's still Peachtree.
So you have to close the previous accounting period before you can move on to the new one.
It's true accounting, yes.
Yeah, it's big boy software, I call it.
Okay. Well, I may not go, but everything they're offering is free. Free vendor booths, free parking, free lunch.
Go!
Free.
Go and come back and
They have an online.
I will take a trip to Philly.
I just go for the free lunch.
I'm going to try and find another local pro advisor to go with me.
You said there was Philadelphia. Is there anything closer to me?
Oh, yeah, Carolina.
Where?
Hold on. Let me do the share. If you click on that link, you'll go to it.
I can't see that my screen is too small. What are the towns?
Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Vancouver, Houston, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte. Okay, we're cool. Good.
So nothing New England-wise.
Unless you want to go to Toronto or Montreal.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
You can go to San Juan, Puerto Rico.
I can
Yeah,
help
take a vacation. Chicago, Illinois. Where do you want to go? Cleveland. Go watch LeBron.
I might like the Washington, D.C. better. I like Washington, D.C. as a city better than Philadelphia.
Traffic. Well, I'm from Charlotte, so I can't stand driving to Charlotte either.
Yeah, that's the problem, is the traffic. I can stand Washington better than I can Philadelphia. Well, actually, I think once I get to Washington, I park my car, and it's all public transportation.
Right, that's true. Okay, so when is it? November 4th? Wouldn't that interfere with sleet? What's Sleater? Let's see.
Has anybody been using? Do any of you?
December 9th. And I'm actually looking at seeing if I could go to Sleater and just be there for 3 days and stay at a cheap hotel. something like that.
Nice. Well,
Everybody bugged up to move it from Vegas so I can go next year. I've done Vegas.
and I had a question.
Well, I just wondered if any of you have been on QuickBooks Online recently, like this week.
Yes.
Because I've been working. I have a couple clients on it, and I'm starting to. They've enhanced it. I mean, it's looking pretty good.
Good.
Yes, there are some enhancements.
Flying.
Banking has
The match transactions have gotten better. You know, it's like now I don't get so confused, you know, trying to link them on and everything. It's really, I mean, they've done a great job with the match.
Did anybody is anybody studying for the advanced exam yet?
I'm back to the original new online exam. That's what I'm looking at. I got certified last year, and I didn't realize it was a year ago. And I think I'm due again, so I'm actually taking the online certification, the new online certification, in preparation for the advanced.
Well, I took
Did that one.
I took that about 2 days ago and went to take the test, and it wasn't available. Turns out I passed it last year, and it's not my renewal date's not until like November 13th. So
Right.
I wish I would have known that. I would have waited another week to sort of take the
Right.
4-hour prep class. So
Huh.
it was pretty confusing because I thought I could just go in and take it, and it wasn't even available because a year hadn't elapsed.
Well, strangely enough, Dennis, I don't think my year has completely lapsed either, and I am able to go in it. But then again, I have that, what do they call that, realm issue, where I have my Pro Advisor login is different than my QuickBooks Online accountant login.
Right.
So I may have different accounts. I
Well,
know.
my Intuit Tax Online login is different than my Pro Advisor. I tried setting it up with the same login, but it wouldn't let me. So I said, "Forget this. I just create a new login for."
Oh, don't get a new login.
Yeah, that confuses me really, really bad.
Oh.
It's just strictly for Intuit Tax Online. It's for nothing else.
Right. Well, before we end today, we've got another 6 minutes. I do want to talk about James, what he had asked about data mining. James, you put a link up from, was it Charlie Russell?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
That basically said in the new QuickBooks Desktop 2015,
Oh
remember
yeah.
when you installed 2014, you would get this pop-up that said, would you like to participate in our usage study? And you have to yes or no. 2015 does not ask you that now. You are automatically in that data usage study until you go to the help file
Yeah.
and then say no.
Right.
Well, I want to say this about that. Where do you think that the scorecard information comes from in QuickBooks Online?
What scorecard
It
information?
comes from the other QuickBooks Online files.
And where does that come from? Data usage studies? Was anyone
Make it very clear it's not your data. They make it very clear it is not your data. It's not your program. That we're even desktop that you're leasing. You know, you're buying a lease. You're not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not yours. I mean, it's like. Yeah, even with desktop.
So that's what you think the difference is? The desktop, it's your data, and the online, it's Intuit's data.
Yeah, but now apparently they're taking steps to make desktop their data too. When things start defaulting, it's like Facebook. They keep changing the rules.
Well, that's my problem. Nothing has stayed the same. It's hard to when you're on a shaky surface, when things change constantly, you know. But has anyone looked at that scorecard report?
No, because I refuse to load 15. I just, until a client forces me to load it, I'm not loading it. I mean, it's got hidden, you know, kill switches, and I don't know. I just want to sit and let it all shake out.
Yeah.
Probably till the first quarter of 15, and you know, see.
Sarah, are you paranoid? I was just kidding.
No, it's like I have a client who's on Enterprise, and she read the license, and she has 10 employees who could potentially sit in front of QuickBooks. So she bought 10-user license of QBE. I've never seen more than 3 people in at a time, 3 or 4.
Yeah, you might want to start thinking instead of the user being a person as a role. So instead of having 10 users...
No. We're not talking about the software. I'm talking about the license.
I'm talking about the license for the... You have how many computers in the office? 5 maybe, but they've got 10 people that rotate back and forth.
Yeah, that's true. They don't have that
So
many.
you put the licenses on the 5 computers, and your logins become account computers.
I'm not talking about what we are able to do. I'm talking about if you read the license, right? It isn't by computer and it's not by human being. It's by human being. It's by the user, not the computer. It has always been that way. So if I load it on my machine, because if I load it on my machine, you know, they've made it very clear that if one of my employees sits down or my husband sits down and starts using QuickBooks, that I am supposed to buy another license for that other human being.
That's true.
Okay?
Yep.
So, you know, this client, they buy 10 licenses, and so they're on the annual renewal, and they've been paying, you know, it's gone up $700, $1,500, $1,600 a year. She gets 15. She says, when can I load it? I'm like, hold off. Let's just see what Charlie says. And then we find out that, okay, with the new subscription is going to be really expensive for the new QBE. And I'm like, well, let's wait and see what's happening with the existing QBEs. And I don't have my file with me, but a 10-user license for an existing QBE to renew next year. So she just got 15, so she's okay. Next year for 16, it's like $3,300.
Oh.
Compared to...
So do I...
$1,100 to $1,400 to $1,700.
And if she were new, it's $4,400, and this is with no payroll, no inventory, no advanced reportings, bare bone basic, $4,400. We've gone from, okay, so as her accountant and pro advisor, you know, do I say, well, shoot, you only need 5 in at a time. Or, you know, 4 in at a time. Because now they're charging by user, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up.
So now it's time to say, let's go to that SAGE conference.
I know. So here I am. You know, the temptation is to lie, which we don't want to do. So right. I don't understand.
Can't you use like QBO? Would QBO work?
Oh Lord, no.
Really?
No.
And how does that affect us that have, like, us pro advisors that have enterprise solutions? Do we have to be on a subscription basis as well?
No, it's part of it. Well, here's the thing. Somebody said, and well, of course it's rumor, pro advisors, go ahead and get your 15 downloaded. We don't know what they're going to include next year in our pro advisor.
They're saying, right, that they've combined everything.
Well, combined QBO and desktop
are going to be combined. If you want just online, it's free. If you want the software, and when they say if you want the software, here's the assumption. You assume that it includes the same software that it always included, which is the Premier Accountant and the Enterprise Accountant.
Because that's what I use. I'm on 2015 Enterprise. You know, I've been using Enterprise for a long time, and I just keep thinking, you know, am I going to have to pay for a subscription? How does that work? You know?
No, not as a pro advisor. You shouldn't.
Right. I would think that you should not. But
and so, what does it mean though? Like they host it, right? They'll host it. Don't they host it?
I didn't get the impression that it was hosted. I didn't think that anything was different as far as the.
Intuit doesn't have anything to do with hosting.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
You're
know.
going to buy the software and you're going to download it either from the internet or on a disk.
Okay.
You know, when you
you have to pay for the disc. They're not sending discs anymore.
Right.
If you want the disc, you have to pay a fee.
Yeah, I always pay for the $28 or whatever they sent it to me. But
I download it and put it on a CD.
You know, when you think about this, would be a good way to push people off of Premiere and Pro onto QBO. Just make it an annual subscription fee for the Premiere and the Pro, and that'd be one way of pushing people to QBO.
Well, it sounds like they're going to get their subscription fee all across the board, no matter what, from everybody. There will be no longer buying a piece of software and using it for as long as you can. They've already gone to the point where after it sunsets, you can no longer email invoices. You have to have the current version for payroll. You know, those kind of things. They've pushed us further and further into buying the more current version. And I see everything going toward a subscription price.
And do you think eventually, like right now, they can sunset it? They have the power to turn the software on and off. And at some point, even just Pro and Premiere, they could probably turn it into the desktop into a subscription.
That's what I was saying, but it seems to me that would incent people to look for other alternatives, like Zero.
Right.
Other software can be more expensive, but I looked at my entire client base this week. Say, is there anybody I could put on QBO? Says at least so I can get my feet wet.
Yeah.
And you know, I need sales receipts that have different wording. And I heard that there's only one sales receipt or one invoice.
Exactly.
Okay. I needed. I have a lot of 1099s. I was like, yeah, you can do 1099s if you buy into a payroll. I'm like, I don't need payroll.
You want to, right.
I gotta have so it's not just going to QBO and then paying that fee. Now I got another fee, and it was just all of a sudden it was like, I have my software. I can run as many clients as I want on desktop. It's not costing me anything but my Pro Advisor. So.
Right.
There is no incentive for me to go to QBO, none.
Right.
Unless the client wants access online, and the QBox solved all of mine. So, and
Right.
once they get the LAN common folders solved.
Well, I have people coming in for trick or treat. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Gotta get the figure going.
I've got to end our broadcast. Please, everyone, come see us at QBox next week. Happy Halloween, everyone, and I'll see you all then.
Nice seeing you, James.
Bye. Have a happy Halloween.
Bye, everyone.